better, sonny. Looking back, it was all needed. The problems, the pain, the trauma, the grieving. You are now tuned in to the Prisoner to Painter. Prisoner to Painter. Hard work, dedication. Rainy days, inspiration. Prisoner to Painter. And now, a word from your local Pope dealer.
Welcome to the Prisoner to Painter podcast. I'm Nathan McDermott.
And I am Katie McDermott.
And today at the table with us, we have Riley.
What's up?
How are you doing today, Riley?
I'm good, man. I'm glad to be alive. I know a lot of people say that, but literally, I am glad to be alive, breathing. Just got a lot to be grateful for, man.
Awesome.
Like straight up.
Awesome. Well, this episode, I think we're going to do something a little different. Instead of me reading the bio at the end, I'm going to read the bio at the beginning, and then I'll ask my questions from there. So this is Riley Kid's bio on his actually. I apologize here. So this is his bio. Let me don't flip through my notes from his website. It's spelled BROTHAMINIS talk418.com. So his mission is Luke 4:18. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he hath anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor. He hath sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to preach deliverance to the captives, and recovering of sight to the blind, to set at liberty them that are bruised.
Oh, that's what we doing?
Clapping would be too loud.
Okay. So to reach out to different organizations that have concert events, etc., in order to draw people in and inform them that there is help in many different areas in the community. He travels local and abroad to spread hope through the art of music, whether it's a big venue or at a homeless shelter. In 2016, he went on a mission trip with the Extreme Tour, putting on free concerts for communities. It was life-changing and also changed his perception on winning souls for Christ, showing love and giving hope to the broken. While he ministered in song on stage, it was also brought off stage in a non-musical format to be more personable and be relational with people. I built some long-term relationships. Talking about him, I apologize. He has built some long-term relationships because of it with the team and those who he has ministered to. He travels to states. He's traveled to 5 states, and in each he has visited many cities, showing love and giving the message of the gospel. He has and will continue this mission locally or far and abroad, wherever God wants him. He's a Christian rapper, musical minister, producer, and also just a minister. Born and raised in Detroit, Michigan, and he's blessed with 4 children. He now resides in Jackson, Michigan. He has had the opportunity to minister in song and engage with churches, charitable organizations, recovery resource centers, and with the help of a friend and community partner, have put together a faith-based community outreach ministry called Hope for the Hood. I guess that touches base on everything for right now for the bio-wise.
Yeah.
So to say all that, that's the towards the end or current part of your story. We start all the way at the beginning. So where would you say your story starts?
I would say it honestly, it really started in like 2015. You know what I'm saying? And I like to start there because that was like pretty much like a defining moment. You know what I'm saying, in my life. That was a time where I was going through a divorce. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And in that, there was a lot of turmoil. There was a lot of torment. It was a little bit of a messy divorce. Now, I start right there because there's a testimony in the divorce, and it's not to speak ill of the other party or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? I had to heal in order for me to tell the story. You know what I'm saying? In order for me to share that as a testimony, I had to make sure that I had to heal. So I didn't start out right out the gate, right after the divorce, telling people about it and everything like that. I had certain people that I would confide in, but for the most part, I was in my own private space. You know what I'm saying? I had to leave my home and leave it with, my ex and children. And somebody told me that, think about it like this, that even though you may feel like you have gotten duped or tricked out of the marriage and things of that nature because of infidelity, not on my behalf. Again, I don't speak ill of her or anything like that. But think about your children. They don't have to hop from house to house anymore. That house was bought, it is paid for, and now they have a permanent place. So think about that. So I had to look at that and I'm like, okay, that's good, but I'm still hurting.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But that's the year that I came here to Jackson. That was October of 2020. October of 2015.
Geez, that's right around the time I met you. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
That's right around the time I met you.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I was still healing, and I was actually looking for something to do. I was actually trying to find a place like where I can use my talents, my skills, my gifts, and things like that. But I wanted to make sure that I wanted to do it for the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Not for any self-serving purposes. You know what I'm saying? At that time that I was going through, that divorce was actually finalized in October.
Okay.
At that time, miraculously, you know, I couldn't imagine myself being healed from that. But for some reason, the Lord had healed me from that. Like,
Beautiful.
He was like, you can move on now. You know what I mean? Not to move on from another relationship, but you can move on in life. Gotcha. You don't have to be stuck in the past. You know what I mean? And so I was like, all right then, well, so what do I do next? Because I'm in this town. I'm staying on my mom's couch and everything like that, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. So I'm trying to do what any normal man would do. Look for a job, try to get himself together. You know, you starting all over and everything like that. In the middle of all that, so I got like stories inside of a story. So in the middle of all that, I signed up for the Extreme Tour. Okay. You know what I mean? Because I wanted to make sure that I wanted to get out there. Yeah. I wanted to use music as this big giant thing to reach everybody. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I had done that like for the Extreme Tour. I tried to apply for them for like 3 years in a row. Okay. First 2 years I got like turned down. And this one was like up in the air and I didn't even know. So in the middle of all that, I'm trying to look for a job, and I'm signing up for the Extreme Tour. I end up working at IST for a little bit. Okay. And then that didn't necessarily work out. So I had to look for something else to do. I had to occupy my time, you know what I'm saying? But I wanted to make sure that I wasn't just like laying around and being lazy. I would go to Jackson Coffee and like sit down there, have a cup, like just kind of like marinate on some things. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I was looking for somewhere to get back. So I went to the shelter. They didn't allow me to come in there and do anything because they didn't have any space or have any room, because there was a lot of other organizations already doing that. Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So then I walked around the corner and lo and behold, I see this place called Home of New Vision. Awesome. And so I'm gonna put her name out there. Terry Van Horn, wonderful lady. She is. She's the one that trained me to be a peer coach. You know, voluntarily. Yeah. But the first face that I saw when I walked up to the Home of New Vision was Paulette Burgess. Okay. And she opened the door and she looked at me like, what is this man doing up here? Yeah. You know, and I was like, I'm just looking for a place to volunteer. And she was like, are you in recovery? I was like, yeah, I guess. Yeah. You know, for the most part, I'm sober and everything like that. I had to fight through certain things to get, you know what I'm saying, overcome my addiction. But yeah, I'm in recovery. She was like, okay, let me give you a tour of the house. She took me into that house and she gave me like a wealth of information about that house, about the Underground Railroad and about all the history and stuff like that, and what kind of sober house it was before what it is now. And so I was like really amazed. And she said, contact Terry. And that's how I got in contact with Terry Van Horn. Awesome. And then I took that like peer training, and then they set me up with, you know, like a peer. And then I really didn't even know what to do. It was just like, okay, you know, this is the outline, this is what you do, this is our code of ethics, and just make sure you maintain contact with this person. Okay. That's not my style. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, dang, you just want me to call this dude? I never like, you know, had a formal introduction or nothing like that. So I ended up doing that, and then, you know, we kind of like, you know, it was pretty good. We hit it off, but then there was crickets. There was nothing. And I wasn't like used to that. You know what I'm saying? Like when I minister to somebody, it's usually like a relationship. You know what I mean? And then when that person is able to fly on their own, then it kind of like we distance ourselves. You know what I'm saying?
Help them to like, or what you could do to help them, and then it kind of branch off a little bit.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. But I mean, that didn't throw me for a loop or anything like that. It was just like, okay, what tactics or what can I use to kind of keep these individuals like really engaged and everything. And that's some of the things that we were discussing on Home and New Visitors. So fast forward so we can get to the part that's really significant is in 2016 I got an email from the Extreme Tour, and Extreme Tour finally said that I was accepted, but they had like these 3 different tiers that you had to be approved on in order for you to get fully acceptance and be able to go to the tour.
Okay, real quick, and I do not ever want to cut you off. So
that's good.
Well, what is the Extreme Tour?
The Extreme Tour is kind of like, it started from a grassroots organization in which they travel from state to state, whether it be West Coast or East Coast or Belize or Brazil or things like that. So it's like a bunch of musicians that get together full of, you know what I'm saying, they're believers, you know what I mean? So they're on a mission to be able to preach the gospel in such a unique fashion where they put on free concerts. That's cool. And you know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter what it can be in a prestigious place in the church or in the hood. You know what I'm saying? So they do this for like free. And I'm talking about like big setups, man, big giant speakers and everything like that, man. Like 808s, 10s, man, big old soundboards. And then everybody come and bring their gifts. You know what I'm saying? And so you can see the uniqueness because they pull from every like every different kind of like area of life, and people come from all different, you know what I'm saying, places, whether it be from New York or from Midwest or Mid-East, West Coast, and so all the musical gifts and everything like that. So they just travel and just do that, you know what I mean? That's cool. And it's it's almost like a missionary journey, you know what I'm saying, but with just using a different style to be able to reach people, you know what I mean? So
is that the word I picked up on in here? Musicianary?
Musicianary.
Cool.
So
Okay, awesome.
I didn't make that up. I got that from somebody else.
Okay, right on. I'm like, that's solid. I'm like, she's like, that's not a real word. I'm like, it looks real to me.
It's like the J-Lo combinations. You know what I mean? Like when they smush 2 words together. I don't know what that's called.
Yeah, I don't either. But it's cool when you're able to kind of like put 2 words together and make it sound like it is a word. You know? But yeah, that's what the Extreme Tour pretty much is, man. And they would travel like pretty much like I want to say 9 months out of the year. Oh, wow. But they may do a little bit more now. You know what I mean? But anybody is pretty much welcome to come and go. But of course, you got to pass a certain like acceptance. You know what I mean? They want to make sure that you really have a heart for their mission. You know what I'm saying? And not just to hop on the bandwagon and try to, you ain't going on this tour thinking you're going to be getting some like 5-star, this is some kind of like concert to promote yourself. You know what I'm saying? This is something that is going to exalt, you know what I'm saying, the Lord, and it's also going to be able to reach the people and combine, you know what I'm saying, like people are throw out their denominational differences, throw out all of that stuff, and they like, we straight up going for the heart of man because we want to make sure that these souls get saved, or at least they know that there's an option that, you know what I'm saying, Jesus can save them. You know what I mean? In a non like Pharisee kind of like religious type thing. You know what I mean? Like it's not like overtly like I'm coming out here, you're gonna go to hell and everything. Like it's a unique evangelistic thing that they have as in their approach.
So I grew up in the church. We switched denominations a lot. I encountered Eddie James Ministry, which is very similar to what you're talking about. Great energy, good people. Same thing. People from all over. I mean, I think he was like more helping teenagers with their journey and recovery and getting to know the Lord and all that. But it was very unique. It was the first time I've ever heard of anything like that. So sounds very similar. And
I think everybody has their they have their unique gifts and talents, and I believe that, you know, what the Bible speaks on about, you know, expanding territory, and it's not just expanding territory like go plant like church planting or anything like that. Expanding territory is like, I'm going to expand your gift, and then you're going to use it in a way where it doesn't actually look like it was in the old archaic times. You know what I'm saying?
That's being called to serve.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
There you go, hands and feet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Getting down and dirty.
Awesome. That's awesome, Riley.
Yeah. So so I was able to embark on that, you know what I'm saying? And I was able not only to embark on it, it helped in so many ways, I would say. It helped me because I had even more healing in that time as well that I needed to go ahead and get taken care of. So the Lord used me to be able to help somebody else, and also to be able to build relationships with other musicians and other people who had the heart for the Lord too.
Awesome.
And then that, you know what I'm saying, like I was able to do that. And so look, when they accepted me, the crazy thing is that, so I had my kids with me.
Okay.
They accepted me, and I didn't know how I was going to get there. So the first stop was, I believe it was Buffalo, New York.
Dang.
And so I ain't had no money, fam.
Yeah.
I'm like, how am I going to get to this place? Like, I know we walk by faith and not by sight, but fam, I need something tangible right now.
And, you know what I'm saying? And with 4 kids, right?
Yeah,
4 kids.
4 kids.
Holy cow.
Three of them were little.
Okay,
You know what I'm
okay.
saying? So I had the 3 ones.
Okay, gotcha.
The 3 are from one marriage.
Understood.
The oldest one is from a previous relationship.
Gotcha.
Back in high school.
Gotcha.
But so I had my 3 young ones.
Okay.
So I got this idea, and I was like, kind of like uniquely told them that, hey, we're going to do this thing so Dad can go on this mission trip, and we're going to paint signs, and then we're going to do a car wash.
Awesome.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I do have video of them, like, it might sound bad, of them on the corner, like, come to get your car washed for a mission trip.
Awesome.
And my youngest daughter was the loudest of them all, and there was on because we stayed on 914 Homewild, which is right across the street from the Allegiance Hospital.
Yep.
Which is Henry Ford now. So they were each on one corner, and I was back at the house just waiting.
Yep.
And then so some cars pulled in, you know, they paid money, got their car washed. There were more people that pulled in that gave me money than I had to wash cars for, because they support the mission.
That's beautiful.
You know what I'm saying? And all of them, look, all of them were not on board with the actual, preaching the gospel message, but the helping of the people part, they was really on board with. You know what I'm saying?
Good enough.
And so, look, in that one day, we gathered up, I believe it was close to $300 to $400. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I had to check the Amtrak train and everything like that. And I looked at it, and then it was like, it's going to cost $200 and something bucks. And I'm like, all right, then, well, that's going to be all my money, pretty much. And I need some money for food, and I got to have this, I got to have some other stuff, hygiene products, all that stuff. So a few hours later, I looked back on it, and Lord, man, look, I kid you not, and this is how I know stuff be like God moments. That ticket that was $200 and something, it was like $70 something bucks, and I was like, no way, all the way to New York, like, what happened?
That's all God.
And I was like, yo, I'm getting the ticket right now. I ain't even telling nobody. So I went on there, booked the ticket, and I was like, I told my tour leg leader, like, I'm gonna be there. You know what I'm saying?
Awesome.
So it was cool. I remember it was 2016 of July.
Okay.
So,
But God, at least you go to Buffalo in July.
Yeah.
Man,
What was Buffalo, New York?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what I mean.
It gets cold in the winter.
Yeah, 10 feet of snow.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
God.
So I ended up embarking on that journey, and I'm telling you, like, I love to travel because I like to see the things in between, the sights, the people. You know what I'm saying? The different places like that I ain't never been to. They had to go through like Ohio and on all these different places, and every layover I would just like, you know, they're like, you got like 20 minutes, and I'm like, oh, I'm finna go out and just walk because I just want to see stuff. I'm nosy, you know what I'm saying? And so, but when we got there, they upon arrival, this guy, I'm trying to remember his name, and he's a very, very eclectic and unique, versatile kind of like musician. You know what I'm saying? And he just drove the trailer around picking people up, and he had all this music equipment. And he didn't even charge me no gas money and nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I know all this stuff is like divine. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So I went on that tour for like 30 days, man.
Right on.
And performing and doing things. And just like the bio said, like a lot of the stuff that actually happened that I think that was not going to happen did happen off stage. Cool. You know what I'm saying? Like when I got done with doing certain songs, somebody would come up to me from the tour and be like, there's this guy in the back or this lady in the back that wants to talk with you. And I'm like, okay. And then I go back there and then they're sobbing. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sitting over here like, oh my God. And at first I had no words. And so all I can do is just like hug them. Yeah. And they just like, you know what I'm saying? Like embrace. Like that's what, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, oh my goodness. The thing that I thought that it was going to look like, it didn't look like. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking that I'm just going to be doing stuff for the youth. Period. But it was reaching like all ages, all demographics, and that also spawned off into Jackson too, like in so many different like churches and places that I would go. And like, look, I don't want to be like say stuff that's going to offend people. Yeah. But I'm talking about like churches that are predominantly like white and old. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm a rapper. I'm like these guys ain't gonna feel me.
all they do is hymnals.
Exactly. The hymns. I'm talking about going to Presbyterian churches and this and everything.
They don't even like contemporary Christian music.
No. But look, even in some of those events, it was just like people like in the back, like, good job.
Getting out.
And there was this one dude, man. I can't remember his name, but he was an older white guy, and he was like 55, I would say. Okay. And I got done doing my set, and then I walked back to go to my seat, and then somebody tapped me on the shoulder and said, "This guy wants to talk with you," and then the same thing happened. Like he was just crying, and I was like, because what I do within the music is talk about the journey, talk about the struggles. You know what I'm saying? I talk about recovery, but I also talk about the brokenness, but the redemption from that. You know what I'm saying? We're not just overcoming like mere obstacles, like barriers, like housing and things like that. We're talking about coming from a place where you're separated from your children, and you got to get them back from the system, or you got to fight to get them back because your spouse won't allow you to see them, or because you know what I'm saying they're defaming your character, and so now you look like the bad guy. You know what I'm saying? And so to be able to go ahead and explain in detail that you can come back from that stuff. You can come back from addiction. You can come back from divorce. You know what I'm saying? You can come back from any place in your life. It don't matter how dark it is. You know what I'm saying? Because straight up, Christ is the light. You know what I'm saying? And so to be able to do that within the music and just let it go ahead and, you know what I'm saying, and emanate, and then hit people the way it wants to, and not the way that I want it to. You know what I'm saying? Because I wanted people to rock with it. You know what I'm saying? But it was like a lot of people were just like, you know what I'm saying? I didn't know what effect it was a lot of times, because there wasn't nobody bobbing heads, and I'm looking out to the crowd like this, like reaching them, and I'm like straight up getting in my brain like, you got to do something. You got, you know what I'm saying? Walk around, you know what I mean? But it wasn't like that. I didn't have to do anything extra. You know what I'm saying? The Lord was just like, go and represent me, and I'll do the rest.
Well, plus you can feel frequencies in your chest. Like when it's really going, you can feel it in your chest. You can feel it in your body. It's fantastic. So the sound itself was probably portraying it a little bit further.
I would say so. There's very, a unique style within the music. You know what I mean? In and of the instrumentation in itself, but let alone just the, you know what I'm saying, the lyrics. And I believe that they were not just my lyrics, but because we're overcome by the blood and the word of the testimony is what really spoke to people. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So that's how that pretty much started. For me doing all of that stuff in Jackson. It was doing that ministry right there, and I believe that it had to prepare me in order for me to go out here and do some things locally too. You know what I'm saying? Because most people want to get into doing things only for certain reasons. You know, and it's not necessarily to promote what's good, what's fruitful. You know what I'm saying? Yep. A lot of it is self-seeking. A lot of it is, you know what I'm saying, for their own pleasure. Yep. A lot of it is just like, I'm just going to do it for the culture. Nothing wrong with that in that regard. But when you have a heart to be like, yo, I want to see people healed. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to see people delivered. I want to see people have salvation. You know, and that means being free from bondage. You know what I'm saying? Not only being saved from hell, you know what I'm saying, but really like being free while you're living on this earth.
No metaphysical boundaries.
Exactly.
Like nothing boundage. Boundaries.
Yeah.
Well, boundaries, barriers, you know. Boundaries are good. Barriers are bad.
I know what you meant.
Well, man, I resonate a lot with this because Jesus Christ is also my Lord and Savior. So I register a lot with this. So you're in 2016, and it's like I didn't know all this about you, so I'm really loving taking the story. And
we have got some love.
A couple people.
Tony said that the part you're talking about kids having to jump from house to house really resonated with him, and then we had somebody else say, "Love this." That's from Austin.
Yep.
So just like giving our people some shout out here or there.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, man. Well, so you know, and it's cool. Sometimes I just throw my notes right out the window, and you're one of the people that I would, because you pretty much hit every single point that I wanted to. You hit what the tipping point was. I do have to ask. I did have one question about what you've said so far. Okay. So you had 3 kids with your ex-wife, and then 1 kid prior to that. I was just curious, how old were you, and do you care to go any more into that?
Or at that time I was out of right out of high school. So I was 18.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Just really young.
That was the time where I was just like, straight up, I was a dirty dude. You know, that was in my addiction. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't want to be responsible. Straight up.
Understood.
Like, all right, I knew that, you know what I'm saying, she was born and I'm supposed to provide, but dang, man, I guess I should have listened to my mom. Like, I ain't really ready for this.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying, like, straight up fatherhood. There was points where there was money from my child's mother, and I would take advantage of that. Like, here's the money, do this, that, and the other. And I would take that money and I would go out and drink.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Not all of it, because I'm like, I ain't just going to take all of it. But I would take that, and then, I would hook up with the homeboys, and then we would go out and we would have, pretty good time.
Tie one on.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
so would you say being a father so young kind of deepened your journey into your addictions? Did it like make it worse? Did it just kind of helped it a little bit? I
would say, it did make it worse. It made it worse to a point where I just wanted to kind of like run away from everything. During that time, I also didn't really have a great relationship with my mom. Okay. You know, she's wonderful. She did what she could at the end. She's a totally different person now. Loves the Lord and things like that. And we got a great relationship as well as with my father.
Awesome.
But yeah, at that time, it was just it was all me. I had no reason to blame nobody else. Yep. The times I got locked up, that was me. You know what I'm saying? Yep. The times that I got into fights, well, it was mostly some of my homeboys. But I was on, you know what I'm saying? Because I wasn't that kind of guy like, yo, what's up, man? We can go ahead and get it started. Yep. You know what I mean? I was always along for the ride, and then told, you know what I'm saying, my friends like, all right, man, whatever you get into, I'm with it too. There was an extent though. Some of the stuff I was just like, oh, you just dumb, man. I'm not doing this. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But it was definitely a struggle with my first daughter. It was a struggle with her mom. It was a struggle with my mom. And I would often run. I would stay out all night. The only constructive thing that I did at that time in my life was just work, because I had to feed myself and I had to feed my addiction. That's the only thing that I would, you know what I'm saying, I had a good work ethic, so I'd take on whatever job it is. I couldn't sit around. You know what I'm saying? So that was the only thing that I did good, I would say, and try to look out for some of the younger homeboys and everything to keep them safe. But at that time, what I thought was safety and what I thought that was actually going to give them something actually really damaged them and poisoned them. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, go ahead, do this to this girl and do that, and you know what I mean? And like hang out in different areas with people we shouldn't even be hanging out with. You know what I mean? And so it's like, now I would say I'm an OG looking back, you know what I mean? and I wish that I would have said something different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I know better now.
Now you know what safety is.
Real safety and like real protection.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, yo, we shouldn't be going to this party, or we shouldn't be going down this block. We shouldn't.
It's not driving home.
Drunk and all that stuff.
Loyalty is different too. Like you are just as loyal as you were. It's just for a different reason. It's like, I'm loyal to you, so I'm going to make sure we're not doing this.
Yeah.
Instead of doing this and just being like right up there to fight as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Loyalty does too. Same baseline. I'm loyal, but loyal for different
reasons.
Yeah, because I thought that's what that meant. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're going to be loyal, like if I say I'm your friend at that time, then that means whatever it is you do, whether it's dumb or if it's positive, then I'm rolling with you. You know what I mean? But like I said, some of the stuff, it was just like, I ain't doing some of this stuff. Like, some people that I was hooked up with, they wanted to join gangs, and I was like, no, I'm cool on that. You're like, I'm more of a renegade or a rebel. I'd rather roll by myself than go join up with a whole bunch of other people that I already know that I don't mean nobody no good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So that was growing up in Detroit, right?
Yep.
My mom grew up in Detroit, and she grew up, older white lady, so she grew up there a long time ago. How was Detroit when you were growing up there? Was that when, like, was Kwame Kilpatrick the mayor? I mean, really, I'm joking, but seriously, was it corrupt when you lived there?
Mind you, his mom was like 70 years old.
So
it was a while ago.
Yeah, but I'm like, so were you living there when it was corrupt, when there were riots? I don't know how old you are. So maybe my time frame's wrong?
Yeah. I got You're going a little bit back before I was like...
understood.
Of age... of understanding.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I grew up in the 80s, but I got into stuff more so like in the 90s.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
I would say maybe like 88, 89, is when I started experimenting with certain things and certain drugs and things like that.
Yeah.
I would experiment a lot with pornography. You know what I mean? That was a big thing that I had to struggle with. A lot of lust and a lot of infatuation, a lot of promiscuous behavior with individuals I know I shouldn't even have been with. You know what I mean? And I think that's what what not only addiction does to you. You know what I'm saying? It changes your whole being, your whole character. It's not just those things that actually kill you, but it'll actually change your perception of life and change how you think, and then you end up killing yourself or killing somebody else.
I almost want to applaud you right here, because as a man, and I can speak for me and not for everybody, I'll speak for me here. I can talk about my drug addiction, I can talk about my alcohol addiction, I can talk about a lot of stuff openly. I think that takes an extra type of man, like your manly man type shit, because pardon my mouth, no, because a lot of people won't touch base on a pornography addiction, and I bet you probably 80% of men today, because of Google and all this stuff, I bet most men struggle with that on a daily basis, and I don't think it's talked about enough. So really, applause, really.
It lights up a different area in your brain.
Yes.
And it activates like gray matter, so it's like you're just like zoned out. It's exactly like being high on a drug, but your brain is like numbed.
Yeah. So couple that with the drugs.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Couple that with a few other things that are out there. I would also say that I would dive deep, not only into the drugs and the alcohol and the lusting and there's a lot of things that I know I shouldn't even have done at a young age, even with myself, fam. Like straight up. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I think that most men don't even want to kind of like, they don't want to be vulnerable in that state because they're going to be looked down on. But fam, that's a struggle. You know what I mean? Like straight up, even in the church. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's why a lot of people getting exposed today. But that's another segment. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But just like straight up, my man, sexual addiction is like a mug. Yep. Like for real. But at that time that you were asking about that, I even got deep in like some evil satanic stuff. You know what I'm saying? Playing with Ouija boards and things like that. I would love to draw like really demonic and like really like just gory stuff. I love horror movies at that time. Everything from slash and whatever on top of everything, man. It's Jason, Freddy. You know what I'm saying? Like Hellraiser,
freaking Leatherface.
Yeah. And look. I used to listen to this dude from Detroit, Eshawn. Okay. So Eshawn was called the UNHOLY, which is on the Holy Rapper. From Detroit. and people still praise his name to this day. Wow. Him, Insane Clown Posse, and Nodis, all that, man. Those was my dudes. I loved them. You know what I'm saying? I used to like chant and do all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? I had like certain symbols on my wall. Like I would just draw on my wall. And my mom would be like, you can't just draw like what markers on your wall and everything like that.
I was allowed to in my room.
In my room. Yeah. And then like she would come in there like, you can't do that. I would be smoking in my room. She'd tell me to stop, and I'm just like, whatever. Like I was very disrespectful to my parents. You know what I'm saying? Mostly my mom. Yeah. I would say because I had so much of a disdain and a hatred for myself, I also had that for my mom too, because I held so much inside of me and I didn't know how to get it out. You know what I'm saying? So everything was like suppressed because of the because not like I said, I'm not blaming the addiction, but that's what I went to because of that.
Well, it played a huge role, I'm sure. It played a big part on that.
And I didn't know how to explain or express my pain or express like how I was feeling, because when I did try to, it was shut down. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so I was like, all right, then, well, I just cry out to the bottle. I'm cool. You know what I mean? I'll cry out to anything else. I'll pop a pill. I'll smoke a joint. You know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that. So I really loved evil. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got a song that's called Wake Up. And then in there's a line that I said I used to get drunk in that rugged basement. And I used to you know what I'm saying? I used to be in love with Satan. You know what I'm saying? And that was my dude. You know what I mean? And it was because I was like poisoned by all of the things that I was listening to. And luckily I never really like got into a point when I successfully completed suicide, but I had many attempts. You know what I'm saying?
Jesus, and I still want to go on with this conversation, but you would know the quote more than I do. But he came for your sick and for your something. So that's when you're favored by God, you're favored by the devil. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that far down the scale, younger. I mean, you're like the primate candidate for Jesus to be like
redemption.
For redemption. I mean, you know, Jesus said he came for your sick and he came for your blind or whatever.
Came to heal the sick, came to heal the blind, the lame, and everything.
Man, that's beautiful.
He ministered to prostitutes.
Yeah, I mean,
everybody else.
To me, that's beautiful to think. The fallen angel had you, and then it's like God's like, no. He's with me or whatever. You know that. I got just some chills hearing your story. So I wanted to say that.
And straight up, and so many of the situations that I got into was because of some, me hanging out with some of these homeboys that I thought was my friends. Yeah. Some of them were, but they got into some stuff. And I know that because of them getting into all that stuff that I was with them, I should have been dead. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like gunshots, car crashes, and all that kind of stuff, man. We used to hang out over there on White Castles, man. What they call the races up and down Livernois. We used to go to the House of Liquor and all that stuff, man. And we just walk in the middle of the street, just do stupid stuff, like, and expect other people to move out our way. Like, man, how dare you just roll up on us like that? And just like wanting to fight, man. like stupid stuff, just drunk and juiced up, man. And that was when I had most of my courage. You know what I mean? But like I said, I should have died because a lot of those events, even though that I didn't start them, you know what I mean? Because I was with people, man. I know I should have been like, if I didn't die, I should have been somewhere laid up, paralyzed. Yeah. You know what I mean? I should have been. I've almost even killed people because of stupid stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah. Choking people out. And I mean, it's wild to me how I lived that kind of life back then. Yep. You know what I'm saying? And when I look at it, I was like, dang, how in the world did I get to that place?
You don't recognize yourself.
No. Yeah. No. And then you think it's like normal. Man, this is survival, fam. This is what we do. Yeah. You know what I mean? And because I'm young, I'm given a pass. You know what I'm saying? Because young people, they still learning themselves.
They're young and dumb. Yeah, you'll grow out of it. Yeah.
No, fam, I almost didn't grow out of it.
Yeah. Those little catchphrases older people have, they don't help us. Oh, boys will be boys.
The cliches.
Not that stuff.
The idioms and the cliches.
All of that stuff. And wasn't scared out of it neither. You know what I mean? Because I seen like a few people, man. One. He was younger than me, and shockingly, he was out there robbing and stealing. Wow. and he ended up going in the back door, just trying to jump in the car or somebody, and somebody just turned around and blasted him.
Damn.
Just like straight up.
Yeah.
And it's just like, then people started just dropping like flies. You know what I mean? I remember in '97 when I was in Job Corps, and I was staying at my mom's house at 814 Kentucky Street, right around the corner from Wyoming. It just like started coming back.
Yeah.
And I heard a gunshot, fam, and it was nighttime. I heard a gunshot, and I looked out the window, and I seen one of my homeboys running out, and I'm like, oh crap, what the heck just happened? So I run down the stairs, and then I'm like, kind of like tiptoeing going over there, and then I go into the house, and then one of my homeboys is laying there with a gun in his hand, with his head, and it's just leaking from it. You know what I'm saying? That was the first suicide I ever witnessed, fam.
Damn.
And I was like, what the heck?
Yeah.
What, like, people crying, like, oh my God, woo, woo, woo. You know what I'm saying? That was his gang night, because he was part of, he was 7-4 GD.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And so I go outside, and then when his nephew's just throwing up, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, dog, what happened? Did somebody come in and shoot him while he got the gun? Like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? He was like, no. He was just talking about what he was going to do to them VLs, the Vice Lords. And then he was going waving a gun around, and then he just like, yeah, I'm going to get him. Boom.
Oh, shit.
And I'm just like, what the heck, you dumb?
Yeah.
And guess why it happened? Because he was under the influence.
Of course.
That's why you don't handle
that
firearms.
you don't wave around guns like that.
You know what I'm saying?
And it's literally why they tell you don't play with guns when you're drunk.
Exactly.
I mean, you get raised, getting that drilled into your head. Like, safety on or whatever.
But at that time, I'm only 19 years old. You know what I'm saying? And witnessing stuff like that, man, I didn't think it was, but it was traumatizing.
You know what I'm saying?
I bet. And I had to go to Job Corps the next day, and I was angry. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sitting in there, and I'm usually, you know what I'm saying? At that time, I was respectful in the class, because I didn't know too many people out in Job Corps. You know what I'm saying? And so in the class, they were asking us to do stuff, and I was just sitting there. And then I think it was this lady named Miss Mary, and she was asking me, like, what's going on? Why are you not doing anything? And I'm just sitting there like, I don't even give up.
You get kind of,
you know what I'm saying? And I just stormed out. And in Job Corps, they got zero tolerance. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just, and they I had been drinking after that. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, yo, homeboy gone. So we just down and stuff. And I'm talking about gallons of like Skull vodka and crap. Like,
Come on,
how you gonna get a lot, man, for a little?
Fair enough.
You know what I'm saying? So it was like I was smelling like a distillery that, you know what I'm saying, the next day. And so she was like, I can smell the alcohol on you. Have you been drinking? I said, no, I haven't drank like this morning. But it was like all night until it was time for me to get up and come here. You know what I'm saying? And she was like, you know, we got a zero tolerance policy. I'm like, yeah, but you don't know what happened to me. You know what I mean? One of my homeboys just got smoked, and he smoked himself. And so she took me to the counselor's office, and he was like, I'm going to let you go home today because of the event that just took place. You know what I mean? And so he let me go home, and honestly, after that, I don't even know what happened. You know what I mean? I just remember that we went to it was funeral time. You know what I'm saying? But it was like those things that we think that are normal, it impacts your brain. You know, and then it's no wonder that a lot of us like have so much mental instability and so much emotional imbalance. You know what I'm saying? Because of the things that we see that we think is normalized, but we're not even supposed to like see that stuff. Even if you just watch it on TV, fam, it's still like kids view this stuff. And at the age of 19, when my brain is still developing, it hasn't fully developed, I don't know how to process that. I thought I did, because I always wanted to be old dog. That, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, man, from California, I'm a menace to society, and I'm like, no, this stuff is hitting me different than I thought that it was. You know what I mean?
God, even really old, let's say really old Vietnam vets or whatever, and it's like it still impacts. It don't matter what age. I mean, but it's probably worse. Formative years, it's probably even. I mean,
well, trauma stores itself in the body, and then your brain's smart enough to, it's like, well, I can't handle that, so I ain't even gonna think about it. And then one day, 20 years down the line, it hits you like it's happening right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the reason why a lot of people use different things to suppress those emotions and suppress that, like that part of the brain. Like, I just want to shut that off. You know, that's how that's how I guess you could say in the addiction, that's how they compartmentalize. You know what I'm saying? So I say all that to say at that time, that's like there was a lot of different factors that drove me into different situations, and it with regard to, you know what I'm saying, my daughter and my child's mother and my mom and everything like that.
So that's your why, kind of. Yeah.
Well, all is clearly relevant. I mean, really. So thank you for your story.
Oh, yeah,
really,
for sure.
Really, right. So, wow. Sorry, I thought I knew you. I know you, but I'm like, holy cow, some of that's got to be rough, man. So what was harder, kicking the booze and whatnot, or I'm gonna say getting out of the lifestyle?
I'm gonna say both of those things were not hard because I wasn't the one that got myself out of it. You know what I mean? I was never indecisive about what I wanted to use or what I wanted to drink. Primarily, you know what I'm saying, my drug of choice is alcohol.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
In 2001, 2002, I was working at a liquor factory called General Wine and Liquor.
Oh,
yeah, right. Right up my alley. I mean, we couldn't buy everything in there because they had certain regulations. Okay. But whatever we could buy, it was discounted. So it was like, sent me to heaven. I loved it. But at this particular time, and I had met this woman, which is my ex-wife now. Okay. You know what I mean? And she was in church and things like that. She was telling me about the Bible and all that. And I would reject it all the time. Like, not going to church. I already know about it. My grandma did raise me. You know what I'm saying? In the church and everything like that. Yeah. And it's not like I had a disdain for the Lord overtly. I didn't just like, I hate you because, you know what I'm saying? It was just like...
structure.
Yeah, it was that stuff. But my grandma, man, she loved me. She taught me the way in a way where it was loving. You know what I'm saying? So that's not like why I ventured away from the church. Gotcha. I ventured away because I got caught up in other stuff. Yeah. But to get back on track, what really allowed me to kick that lifestyle was... You know what I'm saying? I know it's easy for people to say who are believers to say it was the Lord, but it hit me different at that particular time. I'm coming home from work, and I'm like, 40 hours is done. It's Friday, and we work 4/10s, so I have 3-day weekends often. So I'm like, Friday is here. I'm ready to get it in. I'm spending $100 on whatever. So I go to the store. And this dude named Gino at the counter. I'm like, yo, G, what you got new? I know you got some deliveries because I work at a liquor factory. He's like, ain't nothing come in today. And I'm like, dang, I like to try stuff new. You know what I'm saying? Some people like to stick to a certain thing. When I got so far in my addiction, it didn't even matter. It was a certain crowd that I would be with, then I would drink what they would drink. Like, so if it was sophisticated, like rosé, or what do you call that, Remy, or Hennessy, or Cristal or whatever, then I would drink more sophisticated. But if I was with my homeboys, it was like, all right, we can get some Hennessy or whatever. What was that? That cheap brandy that they had?
Mad Dog, No, thank you.
Exactly. So it didn't even. So what I'm saying is that I didn't have like this big roadblock. Like, oh man, I don't know what I want to drink. But at this particular time, I did. So I'll go to the back and looking in the cooler, and I'm just like, dang, I don't even know what I want. And I'm yelling back up at the clerk like, yo, G, you gotta have something new. You know what I'm saying? He's like, I ain't got nothing, kid. So I'm like, bumping. I guess I just started up with 2 balls, 2 8 balls. So I get English 800. I don't even know if they still make that. I don't know. We don't know. But I'm just saying, like, that was the old school. You know what I'm saying? And I kind of picked that because it was a part of a movie that I really love, which is Menace to Society. So they always drink the English 800. So I got two of those. Took them back to the crib, and then I started drinking one. So when I started drinking one, and I'm like, oh, this tastes nasty and skunky like an outdated beer. So in my mind, I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'll start on the other one, and then I'll get buzzed up, and then I'll go back to the skunky one. You know what I'm saying? And fam, so I started on the next one, and I got down to what they call the shoulder, you know what I'm saying, of the beer. And then I heard God speak straight up, like, son, you don't need that anymore. All you need is me. And I'm tripping. What the heck was that? Like, I hear it out here, but I also hear it in here. But because I heard it out here, I'm like, hey, yo, babe, did you hear that? Or is anybody here?
Yeah.
There's nobody there, fam. And I'm like, this is nuts. And I don't know how I got convicted, but at that moment, I'm like, this is real. And that was in between the time that I had recommitted my life back to Christ. But it didn't happen like that day, but it was like within that span, you know what I'm saying, like 30, 40 days.
You were learning the discernment and all of that.
Awesome. And I'm like, this is nuts. So I took my alcohol, the beers, you know what I'm saying, my cigarettes and everything like that, and I poured it down the drain. Like, I don't want it no more. And I'm like, that's crazy. I can look back on it now, and it's like, some people say you have a spiritual awakening. I'm like, no, fam, that's deliverance.
Yes.
Like, straight up, like, literally the taste is stripped out of my mouth. Like, I don't even want that anymore, like, because I know what it's going to do to me. And he's like, I want to use you for something greater. And I'm like, I just don't know what greater is. But yeah, and that was that day. That was December 20th of 2002. You know what I'm saying? That's my deliverance day. Hence recovery.
Dude,
you know what I'm saying?
I resonate so much. I'm sorry to interrupt you. But I resonate. September 5th of 2020, 2023.
2 years this year.
I did not have nothing like that, but close, dude. I mean, when you say I didn't hear nothing, I woke up that day and I said, I'm done. I'm done. And when they say the obsession will be lifted from you, I didn't believe it the first time when I met you. I didn't believe. I said, there's no fucking way. Dude, go on, lift it. It's a hell of a feeling, right? It's a hell of a feeling.
He was very stoic for like about 3 days. Like,
I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't great, but it's not about me. It's about, but I'm trying to say that I relate heavy on that part. God did for me what I could not do for myself.
Right, and that's the thing that I want to communicate. And it's not knocking treatment or outpatient or anything like that, or whatever a person's pathway is. I know it was done uniquely for me so that I can communicate to people that you may relapse, but it doesn't always have to happen, fam. There is a chance, there is an opportunity where it's like, yo, you can be free, you can be delivered, you can be healed, like totally. You know what I'm saying? So when he took that, he took the street life, like I told, I was still working in that liquor factory, and people would be like, yo, what we gonna do tonight? I'm like, I'm good, I'm going home. Awesome. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, yo, kid, you different. And I'm like, man, you know what I'm saying? I'm in this Bible stuff. I'm saved. And they're like, they didn't think I was for real. Until like some time went by, and they was like, you really on this stuff? I'm like, yeah, for real. Some of them I had to tell, like, just kick rocks. Like straight up, because it was so real for me. You know what I mean? And I wasn't in no gang, but if I was gonna go hard for a gang, then I'm gonna go hard, you know what I'm saying, for the Lord. And it's just like that, because now instead of me killing people, you know what I'm saying, with my words and my actions and my lifestyle, now I want to be able to say, yo, here's an open door where you can like receive like freedom from what you've been conformed to. You know what I'm saying? Freedom from your obsession, your drug addiction, you know what I'm saying? From, big archaic works, fornication, whatever your addiction is. I'm talking about from food to all of that stuff. And then you can cling on to Christ. And the crazy thing is, it's not the churchy kind of like thing that you would think it is. It's straight up transformative. You know what I'm saying?
It's very spiritual.
Like, it's like
very spiritual.
A straight up awakening and a new creature in Christ. Fam, now I had to get over some legalistic things that I didn't know that was legalistic, because when I got in, I was on fire. And I was just like, yo, you gotta get this, fam. You know what I'm saying? When I knew what it was, and I was like, yo, get this. Be set free from that life, from the streets, fam. You still see people getting knocked off. People dying, man. What is you doing?
Don't have to have that.
No, you don't gotta have that. So the street life was gone. All that stuff was gone. I stopped hanging with the people, and it was just like, it was easy for me to cut ties. Now I'm not saying that I wasn't sinning, because I still, stayed with my the person that was with me, that was teaching me about church, and we were kind of doing some sexual things we weren't supposed to do. But we had we wanted to get married. You know what I'm saying? And within that, the pastor was like, if y'all living together, stop sleeping with each other, because you don't want to carry that kind of stuff over into your marriage. And so I was like, dang, man, okay, this is real. So I got to get serious about it. And so there was a lot of things that I had to learn to confront that I used to avoid. Like I would avoid certain scriptures because I knew they would speak directly to me because I was doing something I shouldn't have been doing. You know what I'm saying? And so, but you know what I'm saying. Sometimes I still fall into those patterns. Like, dang.
Well, nobody is without sin.
Yeah, nobody is without sin. Never that, but it doesn't give me an excuse to say it.
Exactly.
Because nobody is without sin. It gives me a little bit of grace to go ahead.
Your feelings are valid. Your behaviors are not.
There you go. There you go. Very well put. Yes, sir.
Oh, dang, man. I always get surprised because I'm like, oh, God, I know a story, and then we're going to get into it. And then I don't know your story. And this has been great. This has been phenomenal. And I don't want to rush, but I also... So all this 2015, you go on a tour, right? No, 2016.
2016.
Okay.
Yep.
So when I met you, it was about 2017. I'm sorry, we went backward to go forward. So about 2017 is when I met you.
Yeah.
You were peer support at Home New Vision. To me, it's funny. I still ask about you, and I'm like, God, I forget he hasn't worked there in forever. I mean, she's caught me. She's like, he doesn't work there. I'm like, I remember you told me. Yeah, I'm like, all right. So 2017 is when I meet you, roughly. How was your job stint there? If you can talk about it, because I don't know how that worked.
Oh yeah, man. Home New Vision was a great job, and it still is a great place for people to go to. As far as like just working there, the people were great.
Awesome.
Supervisors was great. Glennis, who was now retired from Home New Vision entirely, she was great. She was the one that gave me my first start. You know what I'm saying? Awesome. Because people had to communicate to her that, hey, this guy wants a job. You know what I mean? But the crazy thing is that I didn't get the job by applying for it. The job was actually offered to me because I was doing events in the community, and Home New Vision has supported it. And there was a lot of people that came out there to this very first Hope for the Hood event and everything like that at the shelter. It was Together We Can Make a Difference, Save Our Youth, Home New Vision, and it was a lot of other community-based organizations came there, and it was big, man. It was big there. And so Shelly and Shannon was there, but Shelly talked to me. She was like, we want to know if you want to work for Home New Vision. And I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, we want to know if you want to do what you love to do and get paid for it. And I'm like, you going to tell me before I got to go up here and do this? I had to perform and everything. And I'm like, oh my God, all this is happening like so fast and like in this moment. And so, I accepted the job, and I started out part-time, and then I moved up to full-time within like 6 months. And then it's such a wonderful job because it allows you a lot of flexibility. But also a lot of room to be able to grow, get trained, learn, also be a people person. I still like to be isolated in my bubble, but it also taught me how to be flexible with schedules and with people in general. You know what I mean? So working there was about, I want to say close to 4.5 years I worked there. Okay. Lovely, man. I loved it.
Well, man, that's where I met you. Met you because of my own circumstances and our paths just happened to cross. I'm glad I got to run back and you revamp this. I forgot Shelly worked there. Honestly, that slipped my mind. That's how I met her too, but it slipped my mind. I just thought I just always knew her somehow.
I remember when I first met you, man. You was just coming there with a little goofy ponytail, man. Oh my God!
I never got to see it.
And he was just all giggling and laughing, goofy. Like this dude is happy, man. And look, you don't even know, man. I don't even think I told you. And nobody else really knows this but the kids and maybe some other family members. But I remember when you gave me that Xbox One, man, and he was like, you want it? And I'm like, well, you just gonna give it to me? He's like, yeah, man, I just got it laying around and I got another one. I'm like, this dude could have just hawked it off. You know what I mean? But he gave it to me. And I didn't think he was actually gonna do it. But he came to my house. It was like, yeah, I just wanted to drop this off to you. And I'm like, dang, fam, thanks. But what happened was the kids came over that weekend, and I was able to surprise them. And I was like, I got a new game system, y'all. And it was like, how do you get an Xbox One? Because I had that funky 360. You know what I'm saying? Like the old little whack games. And it was like, oh my gosh, we could play new Call of Duty and all this stuff. It affected my kids because it really, they felt like it was a Christmas present to them. You know what I'm saying? So that, man, like just doing that, it might have been a game system, but your heart behind giving that was like, it was amazing, man.
Well,
like straight up.
You did so much for me, if you remember or not, and because there might not have been much actually of like, but you showed me who you were, and it's the least I could do.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget back when I first got sober because of you, Shelly, and Newell, a couple people. But it's like, but to me, it's like I hold you in the same regard, and with nobody's better than the next person, anyways. But it's like I hold you next to the head of recovery court. I hold you next to Susan, or I do, because BB saved my life equally as much as you did. Right? She just was the one that happened to sign the paper to keep me out of prison. Man. So she has that over you. She got me out of prison, right?
That's cool though. That's cool.
Really, no, but
that's
I do hold you in high regard. I do.
I honestly, I appreciate that. I've learned how to be able to receive compliments and encouragement like that. At first, I'd be like, nah, that's not. But because you said that, man, that really, that hits home.
I'm glad.
I mean, really. Straight up, man. I'm glad to see you where you're at right now. Like, it's crazy. Like,
thank you.
I will interject with a little bit of a story.
Please.
So, do you remember the God moment we had? We were talking about one of our friends. We hadn't heard from them in forever.
Yeah.
Immediately came inside, and guess who got a hold of us?
The friend we were talking about.
They came over,
just
said, "Whoa, the last time I seen you, he was drunk. He's unrecognizable now. You guys bought a house," and he said, "I owe it all to the Lord." He gave us a funny look, and we have not heard from them since.
But to be honest with you, that's not somebody I need in my life because you cannot accept that the Lord gave this to me.
And that's funny because that's what our conversation was should I delete their number? I haven't heard from them, and I'm like, I think you'll be shown that.
And I was shown it.
There you go.
Yep.
So
sorry about that little sidebar.
Oh, that's good.
So Shelly gave you a job, right? Or Shelly gave you the job.
Shelly had to talk to Glennis and everybody else.
Gotcha.
Shelly offered it to me from Shannon. Shannon was the supervisor.
Yeah, Shannon.
But they all agreed unanimously, like, get this guy a job.
Yeah. And
I was like, wow. I never thought that I never thought that I'd be working in the office because I've factory worked all my life. I'm in janitorial and stuff like that. This is what I'm known to do, but then I'm like, man, I can't keep doing this. And I had certain back injuries, and I'm like, slanging metal and all this other stuff and being a press operator, like, it ain't
dangerous.
Yeah, it's dangerous, and you can't keep doing that stuff for the rest of your life.
Not for 40 years.
Put some wear and tear on your body, man. And it's like, man, and I didn't even know that was actually going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't going for a position at Home and New Vision. I was just doing what the Lord called me to do because I was looking for a platform to use music. You know what I'm saying, to reach people. And he told me, and I want to say like this because people mistaken like, well, God told me. I would say he spoke to me through wisdom and told me to look outside and was like, you don't need a platform because the whole world is your mission field. So you don't need a specific space to kind of like get a venue or whatever the case might be.
Yeah, you got the whole thing.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so if you're willing to kind of like surrender and just, if I say go, will you go? And it's like, that's how it is. And so I've been released to do a lot of different things.
I need to interject before I need to interject because I will forget. You got a good memory. You got a good memory. 2002, you sober up. 2017, you get the job at Home New Vision.
2016, I actually got the job at New Vision. But yeah.
Okay, so 14-year difference. Did we do any 12 steps, anything, or was it God delivered you and that was it?
Yeah, it was no treatment. It was no 12 steps.
I just think this part of your story is very important because some people my Uncle Joe quit and he was done. Some people can find God or God finds them. Yeah. And because I just hear from like you don't need AA. Yeah. You maybe you need it, but you don't have to have AA. You don't have to have NA. Yeah. I think this is my favorite part of your story. Honestly, it was like boom, you're done. You're done.
Yeah, it's my favorite part as well because I love to communicate the part of you do have all these options. Maybe you do need to get sat down in the treatment center because at certain times I need to get sat down in jail. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Because I was going to hurt myself or somebody else. You know what I mean? And even after I sobered up, I still went to jail because I still had old warrants and tickets and stuff. And I'm like, oh God, man, I got a new life, man. Why I'm still getting locked up?
Yeah.
You never paid the debt. You still got consequences by the officials.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, oh, so I don't just get set free from everything.
No, there's natural consequences.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh my God.
Uncle Sam gets his somehow.
Yeah, for sure.
Sorry to interrupt you, Katie. Was there
that part about going without going through a program, #we do recover.
Yeah, shout out Daniel. Him and his wife both sobered up. They got a decent story, or a good story, I won't say, but both of them just said, I'm done with the drugs, and they're done. So that was awesome to hear that.
There you go.
They just said, I'm done. Yep. Amen. Yep.
Okay, so my question was, you kind of hit your recovery, your salvation, everything running. It sounds like you knew and you went and you ran. So we touched on you no longer work there with Home New Vision. So how has things progressed from there now? Like, has it still been the same speed, hitting the ground running, or did it slow down a little bit?
It's slow. It's been like kind of like what do we use now in today's terms? This ebb and flow type of like deal. So some days is like, or some parts of my life is like really fast, and others is like, you know what I'm saying, like really slow. So I transitioned from Home and New Vision. And still in the midst, I'm still doing some traveling, but just kind of like slowing that part down, and doing it more locally. And I transitioned from Home and New Vision in December of 2020 to go to Family Services and Children's Aid. Cool. And then I worked there for 2 years, still doing somewhat of like the peer support, but more case management and things of that nature. So it was a little bit more clinical, in which it's a very good place. I looked up to that place because I thought it was kind of like prestigious. And I'm like, a lot of people don't know this, but I can put this out there because I don't work there no more. And the person that actually got me in there doesn't work there anymore, but I was poached while I was on vacation from home. Somebody straight poached me like, we want you to come and work for us. And I'm like, yo, my loyalty for real, like, was like, but I've been here for like, this is my start. So I straight up told him like, I need some time to think about it. And I gave him some time to think about it. But then I rejected it.
Oh wow!
Straight up. And then I got a call, and I can't say the person's name that called.
Yeah, you're good.
The person that called me was like, "Why'd you turn down the job?" And I'm like, "How did you even know?" What the heck? And I had to put two and two together, and I'm like, "Oh, I know how he knows. Some way, somehow he's connected in there." Yeah. I specifically know how, but I swore I would never tell. Yeah. So, but then he was like, "You should think about it because this, that, and the other." He gave me all like the rundown and the details, and I was like, "All right, man, I'll think about it." He was like, "Pray about it too." So I did, and then I ended up taking that job at Family Services and worked there, and I was blessed to be able to do, while I was working there, this is like when I was leaving Home and New Vision and going to Family Services, I was running this program called the HEAT program that was through Community Corrections. Judge Jordan and Amy Dickerson, they was all on board. They kind of like helped, kind of like facilitate that and bring it to where I can, have it out in the community. So I would do it at Family Services, or I would do it at the office at Save Our Youth at United Way and things like that. So I ran that program on the side while I was working. So things slowed down for me musically, but as far as like doing things organizationally, it was like still going, you know what I'm saying? And I was able to reach a different group of people that wasn't really being targeted, you know what I'm saying? And it was wonderful because when I was running that HEAT program, it was like, that was my thing. It was not like, it was like I was contracted. So I was like, dang, man. So certain things I can implement and kind of like put in and like maybe put a little Christ in there. You know what I'm saying? And so it was like that. So I even prayed with some of them people, you know what I'm saying, that was out the streets, out the gutter. Some of them, like, when they see me today, they be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe, look, what's up? Dap me up and everything like that. So like, it was a beautiful thing running that program and being able to work. So yeah, I guess you could say like the speed was like different, you know what I'm saying, from what I was used to, because it was like all music and everything like that. You good?
So I have to ask this. I have to for me. Peer support or working more clinically, which one did you like more and why?
It'll be peer support.
Peer support. Okay.
Clinically, there's a lot of red tape.
Understood. No, I don't understand. She does.
Mid-state.
Yeah.
They got a lot of different like policies, procedures, billable hours, and doing this, that, and the other, insurance, and so you got to do all these little things to get approved to be able to see certain people. Wow. So I was like, I don't really like that, because if you didn't get approved, you will have to do like pro bonos, but those had to be approved by supervisors and maybe sometimes mid-state. So I was like, I didn't really like that. I liked the peer support because it was more flexible. I could meet people where I want to meet them at, you know what I'm saying, and things of that nature. So that's why I'm still a peer recovery coach in the MDOC.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So how does so what does that look like? I mean, I know we'll get there, but how do you peer support MDOC? That's interesting.
So it's primarily just probationers and parolees.
Okay.
So the unique thing is that when the parolees, before they even get out, we got something called in-reach.
Okay.
And so we, as recovery coaches, we go in on those in-reaches with like the agents and also other people who offer support, such as offender success and things of that nature, or any other community organization that can help support the individual back into integration of the community. And so we would meet them, like that, and then we would explain what the peer support program is, which is Recovery Advocacy Program Supports. That's the RAPS program. So it's like that program contracted through NDOC. That's how it is. So I'm not an agent or anything like that. So that's how that works per parolees. But probationers, sometimes I get people from treatment court and things of that nature, and that's how that works. It's a referral process as well too. So quite a few things that happens is, one, there can be a self-referral, which is sometimes I know people and they're like, oh yeah, I'll hook up with him because what I'm saying, it's not really a conflict of interest. So I know him from the community, like, yeah, I'll hook up with him and we can go ahead and do what we got to do. Yeah. And then they get referrals from agents and things of that nature, and then you get like pre-release from directly incarceration. Oh, wow. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. So that's how that works.
Cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, talk about that you're a part of the Dane community and you give back. I mean, yeah, I don't know how else to say that. I mean, you are like, you for as long as I've known you, all you've done is give back.
Yeah.
I think that's beautiful, Riley.
I'm peeping some of your questions, sorry.
One thing I did want to ask, first off, you're the longest podcast I've had. Which
You just crossed the longest
threshold.
Yeah.
It feels short. I don't even feel like I'm talking about
it. So just a few other things before we wrap up. One of my huge ones is, are you still a part of JARC? And if you are, what is JARC?
No, I have not been a part of JARC since being at Home and New Vision.
Understood.
That is Jackson Area Recovery. I believe it's community or committee.
Okay.
And the reason why is because they have other things that that they do in the community that I won't say that I don't really have time to be able to give to that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. One of the things that I learned by doing like ministry and working with people in recovery communities and different organizations is learning how to value my time. You know what I'm saying? Because I used to just give it away and just like run. And then at the end of the day, I'd be like, I'll be worn out. And then I would start to be like, I don't really want to, do this anymore. Like, and when you got so many people pulling and tugging on you, you just like, I'm getting weary. Even Jesus had to go somewhere by himself to the Father, like, which I'll sit right here and pray while I go to the Father. I'm tired. You know what I'm saying?
Filling too many cups.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like I needed a recharge.
Yep.
But I needed to let go of a lot of things that I was a part of. You know what I'm saying? So that's really the only reason why I'm not a part of it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I just always thought that was I think it's so cool how you. Well, you just got sober and you just decided to give back. I mean, I know I've said it already, but that's my favorite part of your story.
Yeah.
Just years later, you say, I'm going to give back.
Yeah.
And I think that's beautiful. I really do.
Yeah.
Katie, do you have anything else?
I have my wrap-up questions, but I'm going to save them till I know that we're like wrapping all the way up.
Okay.
They're usually the same two questions.
Okay. Well, then these are my few funny ones. One, have you always been that jacked? I would have got the funny ones in here.
I was not expecting.
They're supposed to be icebreakers.
Well, when I first met I'm not saying he was ever small, but he wasn't that rich. Okay? The first thing I said to him over lunch was, so what the hell you been eating, your Wheaties, man?
So, no, I've not always been like that. Honestly, man, that's a crazy story, but I keep it short. 2021 is when I started to get into physical fitness because it was actually by accident. I stayed in Springport Glens. They often had problems with their water heaters and then power outages and everything like that. The water heater was out for like 3 days, and I'm like, I'm tired of boiling water. I need a shower. So I was like, idea, hook up at Planet Fitness. Boom, boom, I can shower there. Got hooked up with them same day. They got everything fixed. So I just kept the membership, and I started going, and then it was like 3 days, then 4 days, then it's like, yo, I'm with it. Yeah. When I start seeing results in 60 days, I'm like, ooh, what'll happen if I do 6 days? Yeah. And then it's just been like since 2021 and right now. Yeah. So, and I also believe that the body is the temple, not only for the spirit, man, but also for the physical. So why would I not want to care for this thing so that I can have a little bit more longevity for my family? You know what I'm saying? Especially for my upcoming wedding.
Yeah. You put out what you put in.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that was one of my other questions, but before I get right there, I actually was supposed to ask that first before we got to the MDOC thing. That was me. No, that was me. But do you have to be in physical shape, or do they want you to be better shape? For like being a peer support for MDOC people, I'm just curious because of like security, health, and like you're big, you can beat some people up. I mean, I'm just saying. Some people though, it's like maybe we should have let him around a prisoner. You can't beat nobody up, you know.
Are you saying like there's a physical fitness test in order
not a test, but
like for the police academy?
Right. Yeah, well, somewhat.
Nothing like nothing like that. This was all on my own. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Man, I just wanted to wanted to continue to do it.
You should have just said, did you get jacked for your job?
Yeah, keep it short.
Oh man. Well, okay. So, since we're talking about God a lot, I wanted to ask what your favorite Bible verse is. Mine's Psalms 23. So I was curious what yours was.
Mine's is honestly, it was Luke 4:18. Okay. But now it has been. I have to look on here. Sometimes I'll be forgetting, but it's this bracelet that my fiance got me.
Awesome.
And it is actually 1 Corinthians 13:4-8. Love is patient, love is kind. It does not boast, does not envy. Awesome. You know, all of that runs all the way down. You know what I'm saying? And it's very extensive in those first few words. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna love somebody, then you're going to be patient with them. And in order to be patient with somebody, then you have to love them. You know what I'm saying? And it also goes into the next one where it's love is patient, love is kind. You know what I'm saying? And it's not just random acts of kindness. It's because I love you. You know what I'm saying? And I love you because God first loved me. And the way that he loves is he shows action through his words, but also he shows action. You know what I'm saying? Just like if I say I'm gonna do something, then I'm going to do it, and it's going to accompany you with my words. You know what I'm saying? So that's my favorite scripture right now.
Awesome. Well, perfect lineup. Is there anything you would like to share about your fiance? You guys are getting married soon.
Yes.
Is there
May 15th.
You'd like to share about that?
May 15th. Yeah. 2025.
No, when you clap, it's like an echo.
Yes, and we have been engaged almost 3 years.
Oh,
you know, and we actually met at Family Services in Children's Aid.
Perfect.
So there was a lot that I learned about her already, and so it didn't make it awkward when we went on our first date. And I was awkward when I asked her out because I'm like, yo, I'm old and she's, you know, quite younger than me, and so I had a lot of questions and I had a lot of doubts and I had a lot of, and I ain't been in the dating world, and I always believe that. If I'm going to pursue anybody, I'm not going to jump around and date this person. You know what I'm saying? Because one, my name is going to be out there, and then they're going to be like, this dude just been going around with different women, and like, so there's an example I want to uphold. You know what I'm saying? A very good image. So I did muster up the courage to go, you know, to her. Her name is Taylor, and ask her out. And she shot me down. Straight up said it was complicated. And I'm like, wow. Okay, what does that mean?
Elaborate.
Like, man. And it was just like that. And I was like depressed. After that, I'm like, I'm never shooting my shot again, man. I'm rolling around, I'm listening to NF and all his depression. I'm like, yeah, this man, you know what I'm saying? Just rapping and drinking monsters and going to work out. I'm just super ripped now. So at least I took my anger out and my depression out very, very constructively.
Yes.
Hopefully, whatever word.
Yeah, but that's my wonderful, wonderful woman.
Perfect.
And she's everything that I could, I want to say imagine, but she's more.
Awesome.
You know what I'm saying? Man, very supportive.
Good.
Because within these years that we've been together, we've been through a lot of different family things on my side and on her side. And those are the kind of things that can break people up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like some very serious issues that can break up the relationship and be like, you know what, you got too much baggage. You know what I'm saying, with your kids or your family.
Yeah.
Like, it's not too much for me. It's
Perfect.
It's overwhelming, and she's just like there. You know what I'm saying? Present in the moment. Like, I'm not just here with you, but I'm here for you, and vice versa. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, and just very emotionally intelligent and everything, man. Like,
Right. Well, I will ask my last question, and then I will leave it to you, Katie.
Yeah.
So, is there any? Well, first, I would like to say this podcast is Prisoner2Painter,
Yeah.
Stories of Success.
yes.
Do not have to be a drunk, do not have to be a drug addict, you don't have to be nothing like that. So the reason I say that is because your story really, to me, the alcohol is irrelevant. Just by what we've been talking about. It's like, yes, that's a part of your story.
Yeah.
I don't think that story has really anything defining or anything, because like, you are a man of God, and so it's your story, so I shouldn't say that, but I like how it's not the main part of your story.
Right.
The main part of your story is Jesus Christ, and,
Yes.
and I love that. My last question that I ask everybody is there any questions that I should have asked that I didn't? Is there any story you would like to share?
Anything we missed?
Anything we missed?
I mean, we'll be here for probably a few
Okay,
hours. You know what I'm saying?
understood.
I think you hit on the right questions at the right time.
Perfect.
There is nothing else that that you could have asked that needed to be asked.
Awesome.
You know what I mean? I think you did a very, very good job.
Thank you.
Especially with the first part to take me back, because I usually don't even share that. You know what I'm saying? Like the darkest part.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I only do when I have to. You know what I'm saying? So that's not like the first thing like I'm going into.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like, I'm going to tell this story because the darkness is what drives people in. Like, oh yeah, I can relate to him because he got some dirt on him and all that.
No, that was my favorite part of this podcast.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people say it started here, and it's like always the word you started at. Like,
Yeah.
that's the good part.
Yeah.
Right? I like that. So, and then I ask all my other guests this. The first month, everybody on this first month, I'm going to invite you back in 6 months. I hope you join.
Okay.
When we're down in the basement, nice room.
If you can be
lighting.
with us in the trap house, you can be with us in the mansion.
Yep. So,
Oh, snap.
so when we upgrade it, lighting, I mean, I'm doing the whole 9 yards. So,
Okay.
I'd like to invite you back, because in 6 months, maybe I get what I'm doing down a little better. I ask better questions.
For sure.
I'll be less nervous. So I want to re-interview.
You were not nervous.
Yeah, well, I believe it. Inside, I'm shaking, right? but so I figure in 6 months, maybe I'll have my grip back to me or whatever. And
Okay.
so this is the formal invite.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome.
I'm on.
Awesome.
I do. I actually have 3 ending questions.
All right.
The first 2 I ask everybody, and the third one I think we kind of haven't really had a chance to ask. I think I'll ask that one first. So we covered where you were, where you are. Where are you going?
That is very interesting, because now a lot of things have changed. I still am going to do music, and I'm still going to do some community events and things of that nature. I'm playing around with doing a little bit more of the fitness and things of that nature.
Awesome.
And because I've seen a lot of people, and this is a part of the journey too, I've seen a lot of people who are broken down because of their physical health. And in my life, I became a vegan. You know what I'm saying? You would say a pescatarian right now. So I kind of like put fish and eggs
Fish
in
and
there.
eggs, yeah.
I need to get a little bit more jack.
Yeah.
Protein.
I need more protein. But in 2017, you know what I'm saying, and before that, my diet was bad. Like, it was horrible. It was all caffeine. It was all cheeseburger. It was just like, I was just eating everything. And constant headaches, always bad health. Like, it was just like, so I ended up changing my diet when the doctors was trying to keep me on high blood pressure meds. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, all I did was change my diet. But you want to give me more medication?
Yeah.
I'm good, fam.
Yeah.
And so I started doing things a little bit. So I changed my eating habits first before I even started exercising.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And so that's the journey that I kind of like want to go on right now. I might be a nutritionist or do like online or, you know, physical coaching and things like that. For physical fitness. I don't know in what capacity, if that would just be for everybody or just old people or whatever the case may be. I guess I'll figure that out actually after I get like some certification.
Like a dietary consult.
Yeah, things like that.
And spirit, they all go together.
Yeah, they go together.
Yeah.
Because what you eat actually controls how you think. You know what I'm saying? And your emotional regulation. Like, you can have withdrawals from sugar, fam.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then, of course, when you got withdrawals, man, you get moody.
Caffeine headaches.
Headaches, all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there's you know what I'm saying, a balance that we have to have on what we eat. You know what I'm saying? Even when people drink, now I don't necessarily agree to an extent that everybody has to be sober. You know what I'm saying? Because some people can have a couple of glasses of wine 1 month and they good. You know what I'm saying? So if you can do that, that's fine. But that's the balance that I'm talking about. If we had learned that in the beginning, maybe we wouldn't have been so head heavy like stone cold drunks and users and things like that. Now, illicit drugs is a totally different story. I'm not saying that you should balance out illicit drugs. There's no way.
There is no recreation.
No recreation for
No
those, fam.
recreation with
That's
that.
only death.
Period.
But yeah, that's what I'm looking to do, and also maybe to increase in my position right now.
Getting a little feedback right now. Sorry,
That's
working
all
on
right.
it. Okay, so what is one word that sums up your entire start to where we are now journey? Like, one word.
Gosh, I have a struggle with these one-word things. They do it on our team, and they're like, "What's your word for the year?" And I'm like, I don't know. Like, everybody's got a word, and I don't want to mimic everybody's words, so I don't know. What one word I would have to.
That can summarize everything.
That's a summarize everything.
Because we're asking everybody, we've had water, triumph, victory,
recovery,
determination,
determination,
things like that. Okay.
One word.
One word.
One word, though.
I'm doing a little bit of a scientific poll to see if people's stories overlap along with the word they chose for.
Because I feel like everybody's success is different, but there's overlaps in the paths.
Yep.
Definitely. Well, I would say overcomer.
Okay.
All right.
Because there's a lot of things that were supposed to actually hold me back. You know what I mean? When the divorce happened, I was supposed to revert back to my old behaviors, but didn't. You know what I'm saying? When things happen in regards to my children, to this day, you know what I'm saying? I have one that's missing out in the streets, straight up. You know what I mean? And that was supposed to, you know what I'm saying? But he's still alive. You know, but I just don't know. We don't have a relationship. You know what I'm saying? That was supposed to break me. God always, not God, but the devil I've seen has always been trying to say, I can't get you, but I'm going to get you through somebody else. You know what I'm saying? So those things that were supposed to break me and that were meant for my demise, actually God used it for good. You know what I'm saying? He still does.
Third and final question. What does success mean to you?
Oh my gosh, man. Success means me getting to a certain place so that I can help somebody else.
Awesome.
And that is not only by corporate or organization or by church. That even means me getting married and getting into somebody else's family so that they can see how we live, how we interact, and maybe some things that they didn't change that need to change, they can actually change. You know what I'm saying? So that that's what I would define what success is. All the other stuff, man, it's like it comes later. It's like seek the kingdom first and its righteousness, and then those other things will be added. So That's what it is.
All you have to do is knock. That's all you have to do. Awesome. Well, then the last part. So clearly I know you're getting married, so I got you a gift card to Jackson Candle Company, so you can get something for your old lady.
Oh my gosh, and she loves candles. She coming like, can we have some candles?
So Jackson Candle Company, number 517-513-3135, 218 South Mechanic Street, Jackson, Michigan, 49201. Jackson's only Swan Creek candle retailer. Hunt and gatherer cocktail kits they also sell. Home bar enthusiasts and gift givers are devoted to this beautiful and delicious infusion kit. Did you know they sell diffusers and therapeutic grade essential oils as well? They love their customers. If you have any questions or are looking for a particular scent, you can feel free to call them.
I will tell you, they got Faygo flavored scented.
Yeah.
Faygo scented candles. They got burner scented candles. They got
they smell like
incense matches.
They smell like Well, Riley, thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate you both.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you for joining, guys, and till next time.
All right, signing off, and